So we will see the way we do the threat modeling of any new feature or more globally the full application. And also the philosophy of protection. Because we do not scan, we use another technique to secure the application. And then we will see how this fits into the scale with as many developers as you want, as many applications as you want. So the company has been founded in 2012 by Jeff Williams and Arshan. Jeff Williams is famous in the security, application security industry because he have written the OWASP Top 10 in 2003. And he said that he believes that the problem of having vulnerabilities cannot be solved really, so maybe there is another solution to secure the applications. And Contrast proposed two solutions. One is called Assess, and Assess will detect the vulnerabilities in your applications. So there was a question about business logic vulnerabilities. Assess will find only technical vulnerabilities. So the one we know is if it's permission issues or things like that, usually Assess will not be able to find it. And Protect is designed to, as it says, to protect an application in production that contains vulnerability or not. So as a security vendor, we are a target. We have a SaaS solution. We have also an on-premise solution, but and it's the same solution, by the way. So the same developments as of today. Maybe it will change in the future. We store very sensitive data. It's the vulnerabilities of our customer, not the source code, which is even more sensitive, but the vulnerability is also very, very sensitive, and therefore we have to be able to show that we are very compliant with all the possible compliance to our customer. So we have a lab, like a security guild inside the company. It's, I don't know, like a security team of 10 people maybe. And they are doing security research. So they are finding new CVEs all the time. And they are also doing our threat modeling. So this threat modeling is not done for every feature. It's done only for critical features, and it's redone for all the application, I don't know, maybe once a year, something like that. And also they are responsible for the product accuracy. So our solution has false positive like any solution, but we try, and I'll show you and explain why, to have the minimum false positive possible. So the idea is to do continuous application security. When I explain with continuous, it means that every step, every work with the application, every usage of the application will become security. Every test, every usage, whatever you would do with the application will become a security test in the background. So on the developer side, the idea is that when the developer writes a few lines of code, usually what he does before he commits, he just checks that what he has written is working. There is super champion that does not check that, but most of the people we have seen are just checking that it works, functionally working. And if it's functionally working, what happens in the background? There is a security test. If there is a vulnerability, this vulnerability will be notified in real time to the developer. So it could be through a Jira ticket, but maybe it's a bit heavy. So if people don't want to handle Jira tickets for security that have been found in real time while the developer is writing code, maybe we can just send a Slack message or a Microsoft Teams message or even an email. Because how many vulnerabilities are we supposed to find when a developer is writing a feature? Most of the time, it will be 0. So it will not be dozens of notifications that we will report to the developers. It might be once a week, might be once a day, but it will not be more than that, for sure. This is important to understand. Also, developers, because we did not, for example, file a Jira ticket, would be able to just ignore. Oh, I did not see the message in my Slack. I did not check my email. I did not see in my IDE that there was a vulnerability, for example. So the next step is that since Contrast Assess will be packaged with the application in every environment you may have, if you have testing, like QA or automatic test, and they bump on what the developer have written, we should find it. And this time, since we find it in the QA or in the testing, it's after the commit, then it makes sense to file a Jira ticket, for example. Finally, we could have missed this, or it could be a legacy application that has known vulnerabilities, but nobody has time to fix it. So this is for Contrast Protect. And it's the same technique, the same package. When we package our instrumentation, we package it with the application in every environment. So in production or in production, yes, we will activate the Protect feature. And if there is an attack that has a chance of success, Contrast Protect should block it. So how it works, we will package what we call an instrumentation file or an agent or whatever. And this instrumentation file will use and combine different techniques to be able to detect the vulnerabilities. So here we say IAST and RAS, but it's much more than only IAST and RAS. It's doing also OSA, so it's scanning all the libraries of your application. I said the word scan. You see, so it analyzes all the libraries of the application, all the open source libraries that you are using, and it detects with the database if those libraries and those versions of the libraries contains vulnerability. Also, it does dust. So we said about dust that is dead. But what it does a passive dust. What does it mean? It analyzes the HTTP request and the HTTP response. And just by doing that passively, without trying to attack the application, just because people are using it, we can find vulnerabilities. I give a small example. If my cookie is not secured, okay, I can do a SAST analysis and eventually I will find it. The chance that it's a false positive will be very high because sometimes it's on the configuration of the application server or things like that. If we see the HTTP response and we see that effectively the cookie is not secure, there is no chance of false positive because we have just seen in front of our eyes that the HTTP response was, did not contain the flag secure in the cookie. That's why dust, at least passive dust, I still have some time. We also perform some SAST. For example, if I have a hard-coded password in my application, even if I use my application, the IAST part will probably not find it unless this password is flowing to the database or flowing into a file or flowing to the HTTP response. There is few chances that we will find an hard-coded password in the code. That's why Contrast Assess will do and will combine the open source analysis, the passive dust, and also some SAST. And finally, the IAST. And the IAST is when I use my application, it activates all the methods. We see all the methods that are being executed in the application, and if this attack vector, so this list of function contains a vulnerability, Contrast Assess should detect it. So instead of scanning the application at one step or several steps of my SDLC, I just embed my agent or my instrumentation file in my application. And every time my application is being used, if there is any vulnerability, we will find it. And we will find it in real time. Okay. Also, this is completely agnostic to the environment. So it could run on the developer workstation. It could run on a Linux machine, on a container, on whatever image you could imagine. As long as it is code that is running, instrumentation can work and can detect the vulnerabilities. So it's built in within the application. It's already part of the application from the day we include it in the application. So we have, I don't know, it changes every day, but maybe like more than 100 developers now. We try to keep small teams, between 3 and 5 people. And most of them are in Baltimore and in Belfast, so we have like 2 R&D centers. And we have a lot of people that are also in Mexico, and we have also a lot of people that are spread all over the world. So that's that's a challenge, because like we have to have like the same system for everyone. But the fact that we package inside the application our instrumentation makes that any usage, it could be done anywhere in the world, any usage for an application will be reported in real time by any means you could imagine. Okay. So ownership, what does it mean? It means that the developer that has written the few lines of code that contains a vulnerability will test it before it does the check-in, and will get a notification that there is a vulnerability before he gets the check-in. Therefore, we believe that it's his job to fix what he has just written. It's not after a commit or after several processes, it's immediate. It's really like a few seconds after I have tested what I have written, I will get my vulnerabilities. Either in my IDE or in my Slack or in my Jira, this you decide. I think in our company we have decided to send it into Slack and to send it into Jira also. So at least for the current development, what people are currently developing, we should not add any security debt, because we will find the vulnerabilities in real time, and eventually the developer will fix it. However, we may find other vulnerabilities, because it's not an application that have started from 0 line of code. So there is already a lot of code or whatever, and inside we will find other vulnerabilities. But it's a continuous process. So those vulnerabilities won't be found immediately. They will be found over time. As a continuous process, every time this application will be used, we will find those vulnerabilities. So it could be on a developer workstation if using some part of the application that are esoteric, but it's not very common, I must admit. It could be on an automatic test. And also, automatic test is not so good, because it's very difficult to cover a full application in automatic test. What we ask in our company for developers, they should write the test before they write really the feature. So they test. But even like that, we see that it's very, very complicated to have a full-blown test or an end-to-end platform that testing completely the application. So even there where we will find a lot, we may miss some part of the application. And therefore, since we are continuous and we are packaged within the application, we are not only there, we are also on the UAT and even also in the production. So we could find those vulnerabilities, those legacy vulnerabilities, anywhere at any time. And then we will set up what we call a release gate. So this is what we use in Contrast. Basically, it's full Java. Initially, we started with Angular, and we see that there was not easy way to test and to write tests for Angular, so we switched to React. Because in React, I have been told, I am not a developer. I am a developer, but not of Contrast. I have been told that in React, it's easy to have end-to-end tests. Initially, there was no test on the UI. All the tests were done on the back end. So the UI is like Angular or React or whatever, and communicate with the REST API. There is no direct call from the UI to the database or to anything. Everything is being done through API. So there was automatic test on the back end. And like that, just by running all the automatic tests on the back end, it's much easier to write. We were covering the entire application and finding all the vulnerabilities. Now we also have added this React end-to-end test. And even like that, I believe it's not enough. I would love to be able to activate our assess solution on the production system. So we can do it, but it has a small impact on the performance. So it's not always easy to do it. At least you cannot do it on all your instances, for example. We have, I don't know, 16 or 20 instances. We can do it on some instances that are not very used, or even that are used, but we cannot like really do it on everything. For the assess part, I mean. Also, we try to have only one branch, because we have seen that it's very complicated to have several branches and to keep several branches over time. So we try to merge everything in the same branch all the time, which is the assessment of the vulnerabilities of our tool. And we have two versions. One is SaaS, one is EOP. As of today, it's the same code. It may change in the future, so we will have to address those changes. Okay, this is interesting, but yeah. So when we, let me think. Okay. Yeah, we have policies. So those policies, you understand that we don't have the same rules on a test on a developer machine, on a QA environment, on a production system. We will not do exactly the same. For example, on production, we will activate by default the protect feature. When it's QA or when it's a UAT, we will activate more the assess feature. In fact, in production, sometimes we activate the protect and the assess feature, and also we do it in UAT, we can activate the processor assess. So both features, like detecting vulnerability or protecting application, can be activated within a click, or it can be done completely automatically inside the configuration of the tool. So you may be able to define that, okay, this is the production server, and therefore I will activate only protect, for example. So I already explained a lot, but since it's continuous, I will find my vulnerabilities not only in the test, I will find directly when my developer writes its code. And it's a big change with other solutions. Because we are not scanning. We just check what is being done with the application, and if we detect something that is wrong, we find a vulnerability, then we report it in real time. Once it is released and deployed, then we activate our protect feature. So with this protect feature, if someone managed to attack or to exploit a vulnerability, the system will see that someone is trying to attack you, and will see that this attack has a chance to success. If it has a chance to success, for example, a very simple example, a SQL injection, if we see that the meaning of the SQL injection has changed, then the system understands that, okay, here there is a successful attack because the payload was malicious, and because this malicious payload has changed the meaning of my SQL query. Therefore, I stop and I will not do this SQL call. Same for parameter tampering, for file manipulation, or for any kind of critical attack. So if there is a real tentative of attack, we see that. If this real tentative of attack has no chance of success, we just notify that someone has tried to attack you from this IP, for example. And if there is a real chance of success, we just block this attack. So there is two modes. One is monitoring, where we monitor and we say, okay, someone has just exploited a vulnerability in your application, but you will see the full detail and you can react quickly. Or we can also block the attack. Alors, a small thing about the result of contrast assess. With contrast assess, you will not find hundreds of results. Generally, unless it's a very, very vulnerable application, there is very few chance that you will find hundreds of results. It should not happen. We find not very few vulnerabilities, but like if we still have false positive like every solution, but if with a SAST solution you get, I don't know, 500 results, which is very common, with contrast assess, you will hardly find 50. And when I say 50, I am generous. Usually you will find less. So you will say, how come with the SAST solution you have found that much, and with you have found that few? Okay, there is a part of maybe on SAST there is more false positive, but it's also SAST is doing other things. They are doing some quality. They are finding results that are not interesting, basically, at least for a security point of view. So. Well, then there is severity. If it's a high vulnerability, even in a SAST, usually it's interesting for security people. But the rate of result is 1 to 10, 1 to 100, 1 to 20, something really, really, really less than another solution. That's why it's not a big deal to be continuous and to report in real time the vulnerabilities. We should not report hundreds of results, definitely not. Once a week is already a good rate. And means that you are not that mature. Usually it could be once a month. And it's good, it's safe to not report a lot of results. There is not vulnerabilities every day, I mean, even when I am a developer. Especially with modern IDE, most of the time, when you are writing your code, they are preventing you that, okay, here, I speak for .NET, maybe less in Java, but for example, in .NET, when you write a vulnerability, the IDE already tells you, beware, here there might be something. So anyway. So when we find a vulnerability like this one, we open automatically a ticket into Jira. A developer will see this ticket and eventually will fix. Okay, cool. And we close the Jira ticket manually. Once this ticket is closed, we have a bi-directional communication with Jira. So Jira notifies us that this ticket has been closed. And that's why you see here, maybe it's very small, but you can see that this has been auto-remediated. Okay, we have sent it to the bug tracker, and the bug tracker sent us back that this vulnerability has been fixed. Does it mean that it has been really fixed? No. Okay, it's the developer that decides that, okay, I have fixed this ticket. Well, there is a chance that he has really fixed it, but it's not sure. Therefore, next time he will try, or someone will try to use this part of the application, if it has been fixed, we will not reopen the ticket. But if we detect that the vulnerability still exists, we will reopen this Jira ticket, the same Jira ticket, even if it's months after. So we have a lot of automated tests. As I said, we ask our developer to write the test before they write the feature. It's called TLD, TDD. Thank you. And once we find the vulnerability, so it could be also here, but we said it's here also, we send a Slack and a Jira ticket. It could be an email, it could work with whatever bug tracking system you want. That's the same for everyone. And once it's done in Jira, we automatically change the vulnerability and we close it. And then we deploy. And when we deploy in production, automatically we activate the protect feature. So even if we have not fixed all the vulnerabilities, we still have this layer of security that is the protect feature. So as of today, we have about 80 Dockers image. So maybe we should use Aqua. That will do the same, but not on the application level, but on the Docker level, and allows you maybe to detect and to protect vulnerabilities that are on the Docker. And now, because we will use more and more this containerization, it's very convenient for us. We can deploy our team server, it's our central application, in minutes within this Docker phase. And finally, here you can see the output of tentative of attacks. So here you can see what are the attackers, and you can see that we have shown that there was some attack that were exploited. This was the red one, and the gray, it's tentative of attack that completely failed. So what we do with our security team, they do pen test on a regular basis on our application, on our team server, and they also help us to improve our protect feature. So our protect feature, how does it work? I explained. It detects the payload, so what is being sent to the application, and if what is being sent to the application looks suspicious, then it will double check that what looks suspicious is not really harming the application. If it's harming the application, before the application will be harmed, it will either block the attack, either notify you that someone exploited an attack. And it will show you the exact what really happened inside the application. Also, we use VictorOps. So VictorOps is a solution that is for incident. So our team server, our Contrast Protect will send an incident to VictorOps that then will call anyone in the middle of the night if there is a real attack or something suspicious in the application.